All right, there we go. Time to grab your board and climb onto climb onto something, because the sales pipeline's coming at you here. I'm all screwed up here with Matt Hines this morning.
It's one of those weeks, Paul. I think it's I spent the last couple of days in Las Vegas at the CEB Sales and Marketing Summit. You may hear it in my voice. I don't think I'm sick. I just think I've been at a conference for 3 days speaking. So flew back to Seattle this morning. Took an hour and a half to drive from the airport back up to Redmond. Just you know what? Live radio, you just never know, right?
You never know, and I think that it's something in the air. I think today here, so we'll hope that you're gonna turn it around right now.
We're gonna turn it around. We've got an amazing guest today. I am super excited and humbled to have our guest with us today. I do have to say though, we always tell people, hey, listen, this is Sales Pipeline Radio. We are here every week live at 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern. You can catch us on our podcast. We're always available everywhere fine podcasts are available: Google Play, iTunes Store. Every past episode of Sales Pipeline Radio is available at salespipelineradio.com, and we every week are featuring insights and interviews with some of the best and brightest minds in B2B sales and marketing. And when I give that spiel, Paul, at the beginning of every episode, I always wonder, like, okay, we get our subscriber numbers have been just unbelievable. I'm just I can't believe.
I see it every time I look on. There's new people joining in or signing up.
I had someone from Gartner tell me this week, so CEB is now owned by Gartner. Someone literally said that a member of her marketing team gets upset when she schedules meetings at 11:30.
Of course.
On Thursday, because she's listening to us live.
Yeah. Well, in fact, that's I don't know whether you saw it, but the output numbers were down for the country as a whole. Business output was down because for a half hour, everybody's listening to the show now here.
Well, basically, all I want to do is I want to say, Emily, thank you. Since you're probably listening live, Emily, this show is for you. Thank you so much for listening live, and for everyone that joins us, whether you're live or on demand. I want to get right into our guest today. We've been so blessed to have so many amazing people come and join us on the show, and today is no exception. Today we have the Wizard of Moz, the founder of Moz, one of the smartest guys in the country, in the world, on all issues of SEO and content marketing. Rand Fishkin joining us on Sales Pipeline Radio today. Rand, thank you so much for taking time to join us.
My pleasure. Glad to be here, guys.
So I've had the opportunity to see Rand speak a number of times, read a lot of his great content. Very knowledgeable guy, stays on the pulse of what's working in content marketing and SEO. Maybe let's just start there, Rand. I mean, you've been in this space a long time. You've seen SEO evolve in a number of different ways. Where are we today with SEO in terms of what it represents and where its place sits in the B2B marketing mix?
Yeah, well, in B2B marketing, I think SEO is still the primary channel, because B2B marketing, it tends to be the case that you are very often serving an audience that's seeking out your product for the first time, or they're investigating options and competitors, and therefore search is where they turn. So when people go to Google, especially when they're trying to learn about a practice or a product or a space, ranking in the organic results is absolutely one of the best things that you can do for your business. And, I think that we've long surmised that maybe something will be the death of search, right? Maybe it'll be social media. Maybe it would be mobile, the mobile web, right? And that would kill it. Or maybe it would be voice search. And so far, none of these things have proven true. So we do a bunch of analysis at Moz of clickstream data from providers like Dumpshot and others in SimilarWeb. And basically, search has continued to grow the share of B2B sites in particular who get traffic from Google. That percentage of the traffic that they get from sources, Google has continued to go up, even though it's been dominant for a decade plus. It keeps going up. So, yeah, SEO is kind of where it's at.
I completely agree, and I think it's. We'll talk a little bit later about the investment it takes to really not just sort of rank and get good content going, but what kind of impact that can have. And when we think about sort of buying journeys, we think about sales process, and if we break that up into sort of discovery phases at the beginning of the sales process, evaluation phases in the middle, and then sort of justify the decision at the end, there's been plenty of research by a number of different people, including CEB and Gartner, that indicate that not only the supplier website is one of the top sources of information, but people continue to go to search. People continue to go to Google and search for topics at the end of the sales process. So this is not just about getting discovered as part of the consideration set. This isn't just about educating new customers. Search has a vital role for B2B buyers at every stage.
It really does. Well, and when you think about search, right, there's paid search and there's organic search. And paid search is essentially, the ad results up at the top that you see. They're labeled with a little, ad from Google. They're barely noticeable, but they still get most of the clicks. They still get about 2% of the clicks, about the same percent that they were getting, even when they were much more clearly labeled as ads. The frustrating part, I think, for a lot of organizations is that, if you play in search and you're spending on PPC, on AdWords, right, that budget is extremely high for a lot of folks because B2B keywords tend to be very expensive. There's a lot of people bidding in most of the competitive spaces, and the click-through rates are, 1 to 2%, which is okay. But then the conversion rates drop from there, and so you're just paying an incredible sum of money to Google to get this traffic. When, the organic results are sitting right below, they get about 10 to 20 times the amount of clicks that the paid search results do. So, 1 to 2% click-through rate versus a 20 to 40% click-through rate. And they don't cost anything. I mean, not per click anyway, right? It's effort that you put in, it's energy you put in, it's sometimes you need consultants or agencies or an in-house person doing that work. But, man, if you can bring that cost down, it's transformative for your, CLTV to CAC ratio.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit about investment and ROI of doing SEO work and really the content behind it. Talking with Rand Fishkin, who is the founder of Moz and is the Wizard of Moz, one of the preeminent SEO experts in the country here on Sales Pipeline Radio. I think if someone comes to you and says, "Listen, I need to get some traffic and some leads off of Google right now," you're kind of stuck with having to pay the tax of the ads. But if you start to create good content, good, meaningful, relevant content that matches kind of what people are selling or what people are searching for, over time you can start to earn that traffic, and you get a little bit of an annuity there. You've got these people that are, it's kind of like a river where, if you're ranking, you're able to continue to get that without that ongoing per-click fee. Talk a little bit about the investment required, though. I think there's still a lot of people assume I'm going to put up a blog post and it's going to start flowing right away. What does it take?
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. You just have to use the right meta tag and then stuff your keyword into the title 25 times. No, sorry. It's not 1997 anymore, so that stuff doesn't work. It is a serious investment, and there's a bunch of elements that go into it. I'll just talk about a few of the core pieces that Google considers, and then I think that'll help folks kind of get a grasp of that's what it takes to do SEO. So you mentioned the relevance of the content. That is important. So Google has very, very sophisticated algorithms and pattern matching systems to be able, and natural language processing systems to be able to read content, not quite like a human being can, but almost, so close that it's getting scary. And that means that content that is written in such a way that it grabs the attention of the reader, that it takes them down a path and tells us a great story in addition to providing great information, and it serves them in the way that they're seeking and maybe even surprises them and engages them, that type of content will tend to outperform the, hey, I made good relevant content that uses keywords. Why aren't I ranking? And it's the difference between something that is exceptional and truly engages readers and searchers versus something that merely provides good, relevant information. The second piece is keywords still do matter. So whatever someone types into the search bar, that is the keyword, or what SEO is called a keyword. And that query string, using it in your title and your headlines does still matter and is still important and is certainly recommended, but it's not the only thing. Next piece is links. So many links that are editorially given, meaning you didn't pay for them, you didn't have to, cajole them or violate any FCC guidelines to get them, and that they come from a diverse set of other domains, and hopefully they contain the keyword or the query when they link to you. And even more, hopefully, they actually link to the page that you want to rank, not just, your home page or some other page on your website. And then the fourth piece is user signals. This is something that's grown dramatically over the last couple of years, but essentially, when we're talking about user signals, we're talking about pogo sticking a lot, and that is essentially someone performs a search. So, Paul, you do a search, you click on result number 3 from, randfishkin.com. And you get to randfishkin.com, and it loads kind of slow, and then it has a little pop-up overlay that says, enter your email address for a chance to win, and you close that, and you think, you know what, this site is a bunch of garbage. They're already asking me for my email. I haven't even gotten any value. I'm clicking the back button. And within 3 or 4 seconds, you click the back button, and you choose another result in Google, maybe the number 7 result. If Google sees that pattern over time quite a bit as it relates to randfishkin.com, they're going to push me down in the rankings and push someone else up. So those user signals matter a lot. And other stuff, but I think those 4 are pretty core.
Yeah, that's really, really helpful, and I think that last one is really important. I think people figure when they get that traffic, let's get them converted right away, and that may work for a temporary period of time, but not going to last. I really appreciate you sharing all that level of detail. I think one thing you are well known for, Rand, is just the generosity and the openness to just sharing ideas. And I think there's probably a lot of people that don't know you necessarily as the founder of Moz, or formerly SEO Moz. But a lot of people know you as the Whiteboard Friday guy. Your videos have just taken on a life of their own. I'm always impressed at the depth. I'm impressed that you continue to do them on a regular basis. Can you talk a little bit about how those started and what that has become as a marketing channel for Moz and as a channel and forum for you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so Whiteboard Friday is this weekly video series that basically covers usually SEO and web marketing topics. They're about 10 minutes in length. And they started because we had got a video camera. This is, 2007, so a decade ago now. And I was explaining a concept to one of my colleagues on the whiteboard, and he said, hang on, I'll grab the camera, we'll film it, we'll put it on the blog. It was an informal kind of thing. You're not going to believe this. That post and the next few videos that we did, they were the worst performing posts every week for 6 months. The worst performing posts that we had on the blog were always the videos.
Yeah.
The quality was bad, the engagement was low, people, they did okay, but they didn't do great. We stuck with them because we thought we could get better at it, and because we liked the format and we were passionate about trying it and trying to get better. Today, Whiteboard Friday is consistently, and for the last 6 years probably, Whiteboard Friday is consistently the best, most engaging, content that we get. It is the number one piece of content when we measure how content performs in our free trial funnel. So Moz is a software as a service business, right? Has a free trial. And if you look at people who've taken the free trial and what content they visited prior to taking a free trial, Whiteboard Friday is, number 1 or number 2. So,
that's amazing.
It's like a lot of things in SEO and content. You stick with it, you improve, you get better, the results improve too.
Yeah, I think it's a good example of just needing to stick with it and give some of this content time, not only to sort of rank and sort of marinate, but also to get better. I mean, a lot of things we start, a lot of things anybody start, the kernel of something is there, and as you've continued to sort of hone the format and how you use the whiteboard and props and a lot of other really cool things you guys do, it's definitely been, I think, just an amazing example to a lot of other marketers of what good content can be. We're gonna have to take a quick break. We got to pay some bills, run a couple commercials. We'll be back. We're going to talk a little more with Rand Fishkin, who's the Wizard of Moz, the founder of Moz, and we're going to talk a little bit more about content marketing SEO. We're also going to talk about Rand, the leader. He's done some really fascinating things as he's evolved his role and the work he's done at Moz. We'll be right back in a couple minutes. This is Sales Pipeline Radio.
Struggling to align your sales and marketing teams? Maybe you're attempting to implement an ABM strategy in your organization, or your content is underperforming. Whatever the challenge, Heinz Marketing has some great on-demand workshops to help. All of them are fully online and on demand, so you can access the content whenever you want. You will also receive an interactive workbook, the presentation slides, and templates, all for $195. Visit www.heinzmarketing.com/workshops. That's HEINZ marketing.com and get started now. In a world where the speed of innovation and change in B2B marketing has never been greater, the only thing bigger is the need for clarity, for a blueprint, for a guide to what's really working and how to apply it specifically to increase sales pipeline growth, velocity, and conversion. That's what you'll find in the Modern Marketer's Field Guide. Download it free at heinzmarketing.com.
All right, then rush right back because we've got the Wizard of Oz and the Wizard of Moz here going through SEO. I got a question for you guys here. We're talking about SEO. Yeah. We talk about the power of keeping people on the site longer. Is that still a metric that Google looks at in ranking search engine optimization? Because the theory is audio keeps you on for 20, 30 minutes. A video keeps you on for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Is that important, how long people stay on the site?
Brand, what do you got on that?
Sort of. It sort of matters. So it's basically in relation to other things. So let's say, for example, that someone visited your site directly and spent a long time there, and they were using Google Chrome, and you have Google Analytics, and they have the Google toolbar installed, so Google's getting the data. Does that help your rankings at all? No, probably not. In fact, almost certainly not. But if, for example, someone performs a search query in Google search engine, and then they click on your website, and they spend a considerable amount of time, and they browse around, and they don't go back to Google until they, their next search, which has nothing to do with whatever you were providing, and you take them all the way through their journey and accomplish their task, that will be very positive. So it's not really about time on site. It's about searcher task accomplishment. You help the searcher accomplish their task, Google will reward you for that. Sometimes that task can be accomplished. Think about like dictionary.com. They can accomplish the searcher's task in 10 seconds. So they don't need to keep people on the site any longer to prove to Google that they've done their job, right? They can show that in a very short amount of time. So it's very relative.
Yeah, I think like a lot of things in SEO, there isn't one silver bullet. It's a lot of things working together. We got Rand Fishkin today on Sales Pipeline Radio. Rand, I'm going to try to summarize a little bit of Rand because you have been on quite a journey. Local Seattle guy, went to the University of Washington. You were the intramural football team captain, which is very impressive.
What? How did you find that?
You can look at LinkedIn profiles. Tell us a lot of things, right? You dropped out with 2 classes to go, and then you started SEO Moz. And I think along the way, you have, obviously, Moz has become a standard in the SEO field. You co-founded inbound.org with the co-founders of HubSpot. You are a mustache aficionado. This journey has been fascinating. It's been fun to watch your growth over the last several years. One of the things that's also impressed me is your transparency. You are known for writing very in-depth pieces on your journey, including, your path to get funding, your decision to hand off the reins. Why is that transparency sort of, as a leader, as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, why has that been so important to you?
Yeah, so I think you guys know I just finished writing a book called Lost and Founder, which doesn't come out until the middle of next year, but is also very transparent. And I spent a bunch of time at the start of it describing exactly that. Like, why be so transparent? Why does that matter so much? My publisher was sort of interested in that too. And a big part of that for me is that, growing up and very early in my career, I did things the other way, right? There was just a lot of, it wasn't terrible stuff, right? But a lot of stuff between, my parents and family members of, hey, don't tell your dad we did this. Hey, don't tell your mom we went here. Hey, don't tell the guy at the grocery store that, you're 7 because if you're 6 and under, we get this for free. That kind of stuff. And I think I just reacted really, really poorly to all of that. And so since then, I've had this, I don't know what you want to call it, addiction, this need to share, right, to get things out, especially the most embarrassing things and the most, the hardest things, which is why I talk about, topics like anxiety and depression and failures that Moz has had, because I think that stuff shouldn't be hidden. It shouldn't be shameful. It should be part of the conversation.
Well, I think we get some of our best lessons from our failures. I think, and I think when we look at others around us, it's easy to see other people's 5%. We go on Facebook, we go on Instagram. I mean, even as business owners, I mean, you and I both, I know many times probably got the question, how's business going? And our default answer oftentimes, it's going great. But like what I really want to say is, well, here's all the what that I'm actually dealing with and shooting glass on back here. So I think having that level of transparency, it's not only, I think, sounds like a little bit cathartic for you, but also I know very helpful for others that are going through a similar journey. You just, about almost 4 years ago, you kind of gave up the reins. I mean, you started the business, you ran the business, you were the CEO, and, your longtime COO, Sarah Bird, you handed off the reins. Was that a difficult decision for you? Has it been difficult to see someone else day-to-day managing what is your baby?
Oh, sure, yeah. No, I think that's a really tough thing. And it was, I want to say it was a tough thing to do, but an easy decision in the moment, 4 years ago, because I was having a lot of mental and emotional struggles, and I don't think that that's a healthy thing for the leader of a company, especially a software startup that has investors and employees with stock options, and all those people have expectations about what the business is going to do. And I think I still do. I feel very proud of the 7 years that I ran Moz and the CEO and the growth that we experienced. I think we built a great place to work and a great company and a mediocre product, but one that in that space there were no products, and so even mediocre was better than nothing for a long time. And now I think there's significant competition, and the products have got to improve, and that's a good thing. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard. Yeah. It remains hard. You guys know that I'll be leaving Moz next year. Yeah, our CEO Sarah wrote a post announcing that this summer, and I'm looking forward to.
So I want to talk about a little bit of what's next for you. So first, I want to talk about you guys have done. I mean, Moz continues to grow in its utility and its importance for marketers. And one of the tools that you guys, I think this is. I mean, either this is a newer tool or maybe it's newer to me that I just discovered is the Keyword Explorer. And I think this is particularly important for folks that want to take better advantage of everything we talked about in the first half of the show around better aligning with what people are talking about, what they're asking about. Just in a couple minutes, just quickly summarize what is the Keyword Explorer and why should people be using this. And by the way, if you're listening and want to check this out while he's answering, you can go to moz.com/explorer and check this great tool out.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the mention of Moz Explorer. So actually, Keyword Explorer is the sort of the last product that I worked on. I got to design it with sort of this ragtag team at Moz, which was really fun. It was like a few engineers and product people that other teams, in some cases, didn't want, but in other cases, just were sort of extraneous to their next projects. And I was like, give them to me. I'll make a new thing. So I'm really excited that we sort of put this 80s movie montage team together and then built Keyword Explorer. But the idea behind it is I wanted a keyword research tool that would allow you to search for a topic or anything in your space and see all the keywords from all kinds of different sources, along with truly accurate volume scores, accurate difficulty, like how hard is it going to be to rank, and then accurate click-through rate numbers, meaning what % of the searchers are likely to click on the organic results for this search. And so Keyword Explorer tries to take those three metrics, which a lot of professional SEOs tried to build on their own in Excel spreadsheets or Google Docs, and synthesize those into lists that you can create of your own keywords that matter to you, and then you can prioritize those and say, like, okay, here we go. This one has a lot of volume, but it's going to be really hard to rank, and few people click on the organic results. So actually, let's go after this other keyword, which is not nearly as competitive, doesn't have as much volume, but we think we can get a lot more traffic much easier for that one.
That's great. Definitely check this out, moz.com/explorers. We definitely run out of time, but I just real quick in like 20 seconds, if you want to check out more about Rand, you can definitely go to moz.com, check out the blog. You'll get the Whiteboard Friday. And I know that the book is a couple months out. Pre-orders aren't available yet. So we don't have some place to send people yet for the book, but they can definitely, I'm sure you'll be talking about it on the blog and through Moz's social channels. Just in a couple seconds, just what's the book about and what should we be looking forward to?
Yeah, so the book takes the position that a lot of the traditional Silicon Valley startup advice is actually broken and wrong, and can take you on the wrong path. And I tell that story through Moz's journey and then show a bunch of examples of maybe some alternatives to consider.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, we are out of time. Paul is giving me all kinds of signals on the other side of the studio, so we are going to have to move on. We really appreciate everything that we've gotten today from Rand Fishkin, the Wizard of Moz. Just a great human being, great marketer, super, as you can tell, very generous and very knowledgeable guy. So thank you so much, Rand, for joining us. If you want to share this episode with some of your other colleagues, make sure you get the full replay at salespipelинeradio.com, as well as every one of our past episodes. And in a couple of days, we'll also have a summary of this episode up on our blog at heinzmarketing.com. Until then, and until next Thursday, where we'll be back here live with another episode of Sales Pipeline Radio. For my great producer, Paul, this is Matt Heinz. Thanks for joining us. Sales Pipeline Radio.
You've been listening to Sales Pipeline Radio, brought to you by the good folks at Matt Heinz Marketing, part of the ever-growing list of shows on the Funnel Radio Network for at-work listeners like you.